it's a very tough market in terms of competition. And if you don't have a lot of money for marketing, then what do you do?
Networking is actually building your resource base and contacts so that you can solve problems in the future that you don't know you're going to have. But it's something we have to start now.
To be really honest, all my businesses is referrals, everything. I never really go out of my circle. And I know I need to break it. I need to go and make it wider.
Some of the most successful people on the planet who are multi-millionaires still continue to network. It's not something that goes just because we've got money.
What happens to the newcomers to this market? What skills they need to have?
Whatever network you choose, it's not just enough to be in it. You have to find ways to be visible and credible.
It's a hard job, no?
People spend so much money learning how to sell, on getting a nice website and a color palette, but they'll turn up at networking events surrounded by highly influential people, and from out of their mouths comes a whole gobbledygook of confusion.
I need network. Where do I start? Hi guys, welcome to a new episode of Master Vision Podcast, your business compass to a successful and meaningful future. So I have to admit one thing. For the last 20 years that I've been building businesses here, it's the first time in those years I feel that this market is so competitive. I feel so much pressure that I've never even felt or I could have imagined existed. Now, I went to check on the internet and found out that this market is one of the most competitive markets in the world. It's also the most diverse markets in terms of nationalities in the world. Now, how can we survive in this market then? The recipe of my success, I think, if I can call within my context success, is the network that I've built in the last, in 3 decades I've been here. Now, it's the organic growth of that network. I didn't purposely build it. But what happens to the newcomers to this market? Because I see a lot of people coming to the market. And the scary part a little bit that they take their savings from their home countries, they come here and they put it in their business with a big hope that they're going to be successful. And I really wish them all the success. But the reality is it's a very tough market in terms of competition. And if you don't have a lot of money for marketing, then what do you do? And the answer is, of course, you need to build your network. Now, how do we do it in the country that has over 200 nationalities, cultures, backgrounds, and so on? So I had to look for a very important guest who agreed to join me. He is the founder, I would say, of networking, even idea in the UAE. His name is Phil Bedford. Phil is my guest today, and I hope I will try to get all the secrets that could help us to build our companies with 0 or 100 dirham budgets in putting in the marketing. So, Phil, please welcome to my podcast. Thank you so much for your time. And let me introduce you also properly. Phil is a co-founder of Strategic Business Connect company. He is also a best-selling author. Phil is a speaker and delivered the keynotes in 11 countries. He's a professor of business networking at Tetr College. He's been in the Middle East for over 25 years and built 3 chapters of BNI in the UAE. He is also a master franchisee for Ascentive Middle East and a referral marketing expert. Wow, so many amazing credentials, amazing. I'm so happy you agreed, Phil, to join me and to share your experience and help us, I don't want to say poor struggling entrepreneurs, but really stressed entrepreneurs to compete in this part of the world.
It's an absolute pleasure to be here.
I start every episode with one thing, which is off the topic a little bit, is I'd like you to tell us who is Phil, 3 things about you that we cannot find it in your digital profile, in your LinkedIn profile, your media kit, something that, okay, or if it's written in small letters, something that we haven't really looked at. So who is Phil? Or 3 things about you.
3 things about me people probably don't know.
Yeah.
I can trace my family back to Henry VIII in England, which is like the 1500s.
Oh,
yes.
Why didn't I put it here in your introduction?
Not everybody knows it, remember? I love sports. I'm sports mad, but particularly water sports. So people who know me really well know that my main water sport is underwater hockey.
It's because of you. I've checked what it is. Oh my God. It's such a difficult thing, right?
It is a tough sport.
It's a tough sport. Yes. Okay. And the third thing?
And the other one is probably one of the things I'm most proud of is from a sporting perspective, I completed a full Ironman in South Africa 3 years ago. And I think the scariest thing is when they said you had to jump in the sea and swim with the great whites.
Oh, I have goosebumps now.
Yeah, my dad took me to see Jaws when I was 8 years old and I never recovered.
But you did it.
We did it.
Oh, congratulations. So, tough man. Tough man. Tell me, please, about maybe let's start from the beginning. So, you've been here for over 25 years, right?
Correct. My 27th year this year.
27?
Yes.
Oh, congratulations.
And it's gone like that, I tell you.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. How did you start it? Why did you come here? What was your first role here? And how did you move to the networking?
So I arrived in Dubai originally on holiday.
27 years ago?
Yeah, well, I suppose it would have been 28 years then. But I came out on holiday because an old friend of mine, Tracy, who came from my hometown, good friend, was Emirates Aircrew. And so I came out to see her on holiday. I was driving around the desert with one of her friends on one of those desert trips. Got speaking to a gentleman. And when I went home, back to Bristol, he rang me and said, "Hey, do you fancy a job in Dubai?" And I was a bit bored in the UK. I was working in recruitment at the time. And it's what we call dead man's boots. So basically there was no chance of promotion.
All right.
And I got a phone call and said, "Hey, why don't you move to Dubai?" And I thought, you know what? Why not?
Oh, wow.
And that was it. Just thought I'd give it a go.
Wow. And that time I have to highlight that it was a different part of Dubai. It was different world here, right? It was the desert.
Yeah, I think I probably came just at the beginning of the explosion. I was quite lucky when you talk about networks to plug into a community of people who'd already been here 8 to 20 years.
Yeah.
So I immediately plugged into a great group of lads who embraced me, took me desert driving, looked after me. But then I immediately started, because I teach dance as well. So I've taught salsa for over 30 years. And when I landed in Dubai, there was a very small scene. And of course, for me, that's a great way to make friends. So I immediately went out, started dancing. And within, I think, about
28 years ago.
28 years ago. There's a very small scene.
Right.
But yes, I came and people started asking me to dance, teach dancing. So
where were you dancing?
So there was a place in the old days called Savage Garden.
Yeah, I know the place.
You know it. Then there was the Cactus Cantina in the Regis Plaza Hotel.
And that's where.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The Bally Centre. I used to teach at the Bally Centre as well.
Wow.
So I used to teach 3 or 4 nights a week.
Nice. It's the hangout place for us. It was.
Yeah. And when you look like me, it gives people hope, right? You don't expect me to be able to dance. So.
No, I was from underwater hockey to the salsa dancing to the networking. You have a very interesting life.
Yeah, I think it's just great to do different things, you know, as long as you're active and having fun. And oddly enough, I found that my social escapades have fed brilliantly into business without even realizing it in the old days.
Wow. So how did you move to that networking, the whole arena, really, and developing that idea of networking in this part of the world?
I think it was interesting because going back to the UK and in my early days in Dubai, the businesses I was in, so recruitment, then exhibitions, stand sales, then real estate, I tended to be the top salesperson in each of those businesses. And the interesting thing was I'd never done sales training. The thought of doing cold calling made me shiver and shake, and I refused to do it. And the companies I was with didn't spend a lot of money on marketing and advertising.
Right.
And yet I was doing well in sales. And I didn't really realize at the time that what I was doing was these opportunities were coming through my social activities.
Right.
And by doing a good job and getting referred or recommended. But I couldn't put my finger on what it was. I just knew it was happening.
All right.
And it wasn't until a number of years later I got involved in a networking group called BNI that you
Which
mentioned.
year did they open here?
BNI?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness me. I'm not actually sure. I think they got to be around 2005, I would have thought, 2004.
Right, okay.
Started by a gentleman called BJ Shah. And they've grown brilliantly here. But basically, I got introduced to them. And at that point in time, it was the first time I realized, that's what I've been doing. And I really enjoyed the structure, the way it worked. And it, oddly enough, fulfilled a little bit of something in me that was missing. I'd always been a salesperson who always wanted to move into management for whatever reason. You know, you're told, aren't you?
be the boss.
Start a job, be the manager, be the bigger manager, be the biggest manager. And it wasn't happening. So what happened for me in BNI was it gave me the opportunity to step into management kind of roles inside chapters, which was brilliant for me. And then I moved into training chapters, and then the whole world opened up for me.
Right. Because that time I was asking because my first business here was conferences. And it was approximately 2006, I think we've opened the first office. And it was the different world of networking that time. We used to organize conferences for 60 people. We cold call them. First speakers, the top speakers, who were terrible speakers, most of them, but amazing people in terms of the industry. And then we sell tickets at $2009, whatever, $96 for them to come. It was and I felt it was one of the first networking events. That time, I knew all the top managers in this region by name.
Wow.
And by name and the business card, but it was a different world.
And in those days it was,
yeah, different world.
Yeah, everyone knew everyone. That was the thing, right?
And wanted to know each other.
Exactly. And now, like you said earlier on in the introduction, you know, I often see people here, particularly in financial services firms, and the big bosses, you know, they're already up and doing well because they've been here so long. Everyone knows them. So they get business by organic word of mouth. Clients refer them. And of course, all these poor new advisors come in now into this massive market with millions of people. And it's like, well, good luck. Off you go. Yeah. This is the way I did it. And it's like, but it's a different world. It's highly competitive. People are very guarded, and it's not what it was. So I think these people need different skills to give them a chance to succeed.
So let's go then into that in terms of the skills. If I were to be really honest, all my businesses is referrals, everything. But I think it's not good also. I mean, I don't really put anything into marketing, traditional marketing. But one thing for sure, I never really go out of my circle then also.
Interesting.
Because it's referrals of my clients' referrals, right? And I know I need to break it. I need to go and make it wider rather than constantly same people for 20 years. So let's start with the newcomers. What do they need to do? What skills they need to have? And then we'll go to the dinosaurs like me. What about us?
Absolutely. I think there's one thing that's important to say right at the beginning, and you did a great job of introducing me and saying, obviously, my speciality is growing with businesses that have limited budgets, but also some of the most successful people on the planet who are multi-millionaires still continue to network. So it's not something that goes just because we've got money. But it's one of those misconceptions. It's a misconception. The people who don't tend to leverage networking as much as they could is people who have senior positions with jobs. Because the people who have senior positions in corporates don't need to network so much themselves because they have staff to do business development.
Right.
But the owner of the business, the person who started it, is their baby. And they never lose that passion for getting out there and talking about it and developing opportunities. So one thing is, very successful people can continue to network, and some of them can choose to do it even more efficiently and effectively. And that's why, to be fair, some of the clients I've signed up are actually already super successful in business with 3 or 4 businesses. They don't need to network, but what they want to do is learn how to do it more effectively and efficiently because they're too busy elsewhere. So there's actually 2 people we can work with. But you're absolutely right in your introduction. Just important to say the other side as well.
But I think also with the senior, with the executives and the corporates, especially here, I've noticed a lot of them, the companies are restructuring now. You know, they found these tools to serve the shareholders, and anytime they don't reach their numbers, they restructure companies and bye-bye.
It's really interesting you say that. There was this case of the Great Resignation a couple of years ago, which is because of that and other COVID and other things. And you're very right, that whole layer of C-suite were taken off. And so what do? They turn around and go, oh, well, I'll start my own business. I'm 60, I'm 58, let's give it a go. And I know a lot of these people. And they kind of fall into two camps. There's the camp that turns around and says, well, I'm a CEO and I know it all and I'm just going to go out and try and do it on my own. Interesting. And then there's the other camp which turns around and says, well, I realized actually my skill set was operating a business that had employees, revenue, and they turn around and go, hold on, now I'm starting a small business. This is a completely different skill set. And they're humble enough to turn around and say, look, if I want to fast track this, I need to learn. And I need to plug in to a community that can help me. And those are the two kind of camps I've seen the ex-C-suite fall into. And it's really interesting to watch their journeys from the ones that choose to and the ones that choose not to. And I've seen a lot of the ones that choose not to, a high majority, not all, end up going back and trying to find work because they can't hack it as a small business owner.
My husband was one of those probably great resignation, and he spent in one of the really big company here for over 20 years. And then he changed the whole restructuring. He joined the private equity firm, and he had to build his network because all his network was his people from that company, right?
Exactly.
Because the company was so huge that you don't need anyone. It was like the new small world.
And when you say jump, people say how high.
Yeah.
And then what we realize is when we leave that, actually it wasn't me, it was my position.
Absolutely.
And your network gone overnight.
Gone.
Yeah, it's really
3 years it took him now to build the whole thing, and he is always telling me, "Oh my God, I wish I was more strategic while I was there."
But that's the thing. You need to, when's the best time to build a roof?
When you have a roof,
Before it rains.
Before it rains,
right? And the thing is, when people have jobs, they're like, I'm safe. I don't need to network anymore. And that's because the mindset is, I network to find my next job. It's not, I network to solve problems that I don't know I'm going to have. So for me, networking is actually building your resource base and contacts so that you can solve problems in the future that you don't know you're going to have. But it's something we have to start now.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, people leave it till it's too late.
The first thought I said, okay, what problems I'm going to... Apart from the problems I have now, what else I'm going to have?
Well, I'm not being funny. A good friend of mine, I've just had lunch with him now. He turned around to me and he said, look, Phil, he's got an amazing business, that stock taking business. It's not normal stock taking. It's a new app where they put it's almost like a supercharge in. And he wanted a contact in the UK. I haven't lived in the UK for 27 years. And I think within 2 days, I had a contact for him in the UK. And now he's off and he's able to do business once he gets the go-ahead. Bang, like that. And that's because I built the contacts and I keep in touch over the years. Now, a lot of people don't bother doing that.
Yeah, it's a hard job, no?
It is.
Yeah.
But it is and it isn't. Social media's made it so much easier. You know, in the old days, if you wanted to stay in touch, what did you do?
Well,
you had to write a letter and wait 2 months for the letter to come. We had pen friends, right?
I had that.
Or you had to you had to go to the telephone box and then stick 10, money in.
We had those cards. Do you remember the Etisalat cards? Yeah.
But the world's easier
international.
now. Yeah, you can meet people and you can stay in touch on social media. You can do WhatsApp groups. The only thing that stops people doing it, in my opinion, they can't be bothered.
It's me. No, can't be bothered. Maybe there is some blocks inside.
Well, isn't.
I don't know.
I
was
just listening to, we were talking about this earlier on. One of my favorite podcasts is Diver CEO. Stephen Bartlett. He was interviewing Simon Sinek. And at the end of the most amazing podcast, they both admitted to being absolutely useless at staying in touch with each other.
Yeah, I loved it. It was
powerful, wasn't it?
What a beautiful podcast it was,
lovely.
the episode. Yeah, what a beautiful episode. Yeah.
But even then, they were also talking about now is the time of communities.
Yeah.
Now's the time because of AI and everything it's doing, which is great, but also it's going to open up a gap for people who need real connection, human connection, not perfection.
Absolutely.
And that was an interesting conversation.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. Okay, so we definitely now understand that we need it. You're a senior executive, you're a business owner, you're the startup owner, you just moved here, you need it 100%. Now, where do we start? Let's say, is there a difference between those like me who's been here for a long time, my approach to networking, to those who just came yesterday?
I suppose the question is, what are you networking for?
Okay.
So if you have a job, and you only ever intend to be an employee, then your network can be your hobbies, just getting out there. It could also be going and joining a group of other people in a similar space, so at least you get information. So, networks can be quite simple, but also social. And I
Right.
mentioned some of the success I had earlier on. That was because my social network was salsa. I taught the class. Everybody knew me. So what I had was credibility in a community. So whatever network you choose, it's not just enough to be in it. You have to find ways to be visible and credible.
So I'm straight away thinking I'm part of F45. We don't even talk there because it's such a great thing. You know, this exercise, the I think it's CrossFit training,
Oh, excellent. Okay.
but they kill us there in a good way.
In a good way. So
They torture us. I don't know if the word kill is going to be blocked on YouTube now, but they torture
yeah.
us.
But it's the same with my underwater hockey. You try speaking
Yeah.
when you're underwater holding your breath.
Oh,
You know, it's impossible. But the thing is, though, when you do a common thing, there's
Yeah.
always a bond, right?
Yeah.
You know, now, if you're a new business owner to Dubai, it depends again. If you're a business owner, you've got a
Yeah.
job. So you can network for a job. It's just the motivations tend to be less. The thing is, when you're a small business owner, you've got extra pressure, extra drive. And so these people are often willing to do above and beyond what your average person is. And they're also willing to invest more than themselves than your average person is. So if you're a small business owner, the question is, what problem are you trying to solve? And so some people will come to Dubai, I've met them, and their first networking skill or their first networking goal is to find people who've been here for a number of years and just find out what business looks like.
Right.
How does it work?
That was my first years after Expo.
There you go.
Yeah.
How does it
Speaking at the
work?
conference about this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, one of their first
Yeah.
realizations I always hear is, oh my gosh, people are so friendly.
Yeah,
They're
right?
so welcoming. They're so willing to help. And they're so not used to this back home.
You're
That's
right.
number one.
Yeah.
You know, then what they'll turn around and say, okay, these are what my clients look like. So the next question is, if you know what your clients look like, well, why don't we go and try and find networks where your clients hang out? So actually strategically, and this is one of the mistakes people make, they choose their networks based on how many people are in the room.
Right.
So they'll go along, they go, oh, there's 100 people there, I'll go there.
Yeah,
You
feels
know,
like there's
right.
credibility.
But wouldn't it
you
make
know,
more sense if
the
you found
scale.
a network which is full of the right people? Now, here's another dynamic. I digress slightly. And this is the interesting thing when you're choosing your network. If you're going networking, right, just going to show you some stats now. Just imagine for 1 minute you're having a conversation. How long do you speak to one person at a networking event? How long would you have a conversation for?
Do you know me? I never network strategically. I
No, just
network
talking.
for enjoy. I
Just
talk
talking.
for a long time.
Okay, so you talk for
Yeah.
what's a long time?
I don't know, 15 minutes.
15 minutes, okay. So if you're speaking to one person for 15 minutes,
I usually stick to a couple of people and that's
okay.
it. Yeah.
That's okay. So all I'm going to do is just give you an example. Right?
Yeah.
So you speak for 15 minutes, and by your average person would probably do that at a business event where they're trying to get clients as well. 10 to 15 minutes, right? So in an hour, how many people can you speak to?
4.
4. And most networking events, 2 hours?
Yeah.
So how many people can you speak to
Yeah,
at networking
8,
events? 8.
yeah.
So why do people choose events with 100 people?
Oh, you think then you have a variety? Psychologically feels like you have a variety to
No.
choose from.
So all you're doing
Yeah.
is going to this thing, getting swamped,
Yeah.
wasting most of your time, walking out frustrated because you didn't meet anyone, meeting 4 to 8 people, and you're like, well, they weren't even the right people anyway. So what I suggest to people is, well, instead of going for numbers, strategically choose where you are, go for a smaller group of the right people. And you see, that's what we've decided to do with Strategic Business Connect. We do niche-based networking.
Right.
So we'll do, for example, sports, well-being, health is one niche. So an individual can look at that group and say, right, that's where I want to be. We limit it to 20 people and we make sure that everyone has a conversation with everybody. Now what you've done is to have 20 conversations with the right people rather than 4 conversations with the wrong people. But psychologically, the big one would be the one that everyone goes for.
Yeah, interesting.
So, and this is the science of understanding how networking works and how you can save more time.
Right. And straight away, I have this thing that there were different groups that here have big names. Used to be, now I'm really not. I haven't explored it recently, but there was like a CEO or something. This, that, that.
Yeah. That's
And then most of them, you go there and it's just people selling you some, I don't know, apartments, and so it feels very irrelevant. And that's why I think at some point of time I've just got this not disillusion, disappointed.
Yeah, I agree with you. I personally don't like networks like that. I've been to a few and I can't wait to escape, because all people are doing. You see, the challenges with networking and sales don't mix, which is kind of weird when you're there to meet people, right? So but the trouble is, let me give you an example. If I turn up to sell my business, and when I meet you, all I do is talk about myself because I'm selling. How interested are you? You're starting to zone out, right? All you're doing is saying, please, Phil, shut up so I can tell you about what I do. Right? So you've got two people selling. Nobody's listening.
Yeah, that's how it feels
right?
a lot of
and
time.
then you go and do that with everyone. Everyone's doing this.
Yeah.
So we'll walk away with no success. Now imagine changing the dynamic of that and saying, okay, Nina, tell me about yourself. Tell me about your business. What sort of clients are you looking for? What works? What's a story of success? Tell me about you. And I listen and I'm genuinely interested. How does the dynamic change?
Now you made me think that, so because I used to run that conference business, but I'm terrible at networking. The reason I had a lot of contacts because I was super young. So I was one of the first very young women here that was running business. So everyone wanted to interact and ask me. Everyone was just surprised, why are you doing that? So it was easier to start conversation. But people were more interested in your background, your motivation. It was a completely different dynamic. Today, especially after Expo, new dynamics.
New wave.
Yes, this new wave they brought. I feel everything is just about sell this opportunity. Where's opportunity? Where's this? It's just take. That's how I feel it now.
I think maybe it's because a lot of people come here with a very short-term view. They see it as the pot of gold, the money of gold. And I remember years ago, someone said to me, it's not the real city. It's not the real world. It's Narnia. You'll never have
Fake.
real relationships. What an absolute load of rubbish. It's been the most amazing 27 years. I've had some amazing relationships, great businesses, and I've loved it, And that's because the people that said that probably had the mentality of, it's just an extended summer holiday.
Right.
And you don't bother investing in relationships.
Right.
And so going back to networking, if they're only after results quickly, most people foolishly just talk about business. Now, here's the thing, right? You look at yourself as a human being. Human beings are psychologically and fundamentally hardwired to react to threat. Okay? So what happens when we feel threatened? There's only three responses, right? Fight, we argue. Flight, we run away. Or freeze, we do nothing. So if you're at a networking event and someone is trying to sell to you aggressively, you kick into survival mode. And all you want to do is shut down, run away, or do something. That's not the way you sell tools. That's not the way you sell your business. That's not the way you build relationships. So actually, one of the secrets to networking is actually to move slightly more personal. Actually ask people about themselves. Yes, ask them about the business, but also to connect on a personal format. Because the thing is, if you can find things in common, guess what happens? We start to say, hey, this person's like me. This is someone I could get to know. And then the walls come down. But everybody's so hammering the business, they're forgetting we're human beings. And this is another thing in this part of the world. Business only comes after the family greeting. How's your family? Who are you? Getting to know each other. That's beautiful. But we as foreigners, a lot of us come here and it's business straight away.
Let's go to this.
There you go. So we should learn from this part of the world and build in that bit of social as well.
Do you know what, Mish? I've read in your book, Kiss the Rebel, that there's a big difference between women and, not big, but there's a difference between how women network and how men network. And I'm a woman who I can get to a bit more personal, discuss it. But then my issue is, to get out of it and change to business. That's it. The minute I cross kids, life, I start taking that person as a friend rather than, and then anything to sell that person, all I want is to help rather than sell. Yeah. And I really can't balance that.
Yeah, there's a lot of similarity. Actually, many of the differences between men and women, there's not that many, but there are a few. And one of the key ones, as you've just hit on there, is because ladies tend to be a little bit more relational, which means when you ask questions, you dig more, you want to know more, which, by the way, makes you better networkers ultimately, because you know more about the other person. The more you know, the more you can do to help them, the better the relationship is. Whereas men tend to be a little bit more, this is who I am, this is how good I am, let's do business.
Right.
And they skip the bit in the middle, which is called relationship building. Right? So the challenge you have with men and women network is women are looking to build relationships, men are going straight for the results.
Right.
And vice versa. So if you've got, the lady trying to network with a man, she's trying to talk about, tell me about your kids and your family. And the guy's going, what the heck are you talking about? Let's do business. So you get a clash. This isn't everybody. Right. But there is enough statistical differences to show a trend there.
Very interesting. So let's get a little bit to the practical, practical tools. and I'll use this opportunity to get a bit of your consultancy on this. So I have a new framework that I've been developing for several years, and the channel is called Master Vision. And the idea is we define the future state of the company with the leaders, the future state, the impact that the company would have, and then we go back to today's, to the present, and align company to that direction. Without really compromising on the short-term goals.
Okay.
So it's a good balance. We create a blueprint, which gives you a good balance. There is a good direction. We know where we're going, but we also stay within the short-term goals. Now, very complicated product, to be honest, to understand it. And so I've created first a similar, an easier version of it, where we would, called mentorship, where we would divide people and they do this thing themselves rather than us developing the blueprints for them. Then I realized I can't really sell it, and it's too much work. I still prefer that referral, my friends, my clients, and so on. But now I've realized, in order for it to be a true movement and really go into the public arena, because that thinking I find is really good for the business, I need network. I need to network. I need to do something. I need to bring it to people, to the right kind of people also. So where do I start? Sorry for the long. I just want to use this opportunity of my podcast. But just I like, where shall I start? It's definitely not just your common businessman. You need to be a true leader, a bit,
So where do you start to find the person that would buy it, or the person that would be part of it?
The person that would buy it. Let's start with the person who would buy it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, what I tend to do, and again, so here's a distinction between networking and referral marketing.
Right.
Okay. So again, networking is you, Nina, going out and meeting these people and finding these people by going here, there, and everywhere. Referral marketing is where you turn around and say, right, who do I know who can get me to the people I want?
Right.
So you start to leverage other people's networks instead of chasing it yourself.
Right.
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 So so what I like to do is reverse engineer. So who's the person you think would buy the product? What are their pains? What are their problems? Build up the psychographics and demographics for that person. Once you have a picture, I then reverse engineer that to say, well, where would I find them? And who do I know would have connections to those people?
Right.
I can then search my own network and say, right, who do I know who has connections to those people?
Right.
That gives me someone I can ask. And if I don't know anyone, then I say, well, where would those people hang out? And I'll go there myself and try and do it.
And you look for the business or more social places where they hang out.
Good question. But whichever one you choose, you have to be appropriate to that network.
Yeah, it would be strange if I go to the underwater hockey.
Yeah.
And then can't swim.
Leave your mask and snorkel on the side. Let's talk about business. Sorry, I'm here to play hockey. So wherever you can network anywhere, but you have to be appropriate. Of course, it's different skills. And this is one of the interesting things going back again is, you can get some of your best business from your social networks.
Right.
I honestly, I do one of my things. I run a free workshop called Get More Clients Now. It's on Zoom, and I know you're going to come along soon. I'm going to let you into a secret, okay? One of the things I asked people was, look, I'm in a number of different networking groups. And so I'm a member of one that's called the CEO group. It's Excelsior. It's online. It's a WhatsApp group. Loads of long-term CEOs and members of Dubai. Really great group, but lots of long-termers. I've been a member of BNI. I have my own network, friends and family. I've been a professional speaker. I've also got my salsa and my underwater hockey. They're networks, right? Friends and family, clients. And I say to everyone, which of those networks has been most influential in me getting my first client, my first 2 franchisees, and most of my introductions into being on like Forbes and BBC and all that sort of stuff. And people tell me, some people go for the CEO club of all the people who've been here for years. Other people go BNI. Some people say clients. It was salsa.
I don't dance salsa.
Right? No, but the point was, so it's not, but the thing is our social networks can be just as good. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean the others aren't great networks, but the difference was in my salsa, I was visible and I was credible and everyone knew who I was.
I would have never guessed.
Yeah. So,
and you're probably a very good dancer.
I don't do bad.
I would have never guessed. This is incredible. Now, okay, let's say I found the event and I think, more or less, how do people need to prepare? What do I need to have with me? I don't know.
Oh,
In
to
this
go
part
networking?
so I'm there, I'm ready. Let's say it's a business club with we go by the.
Oh, so not underwater hockey then. We're not taking our
No,
swimming trunks.
because
Oh, okay, just checking.
I wouldn't even go there because I feel fat, so I need to exercise before, and then I go there. I don't know how to swim.
No way. So we're definitely in a business one. Okay, we're going there.
Definitely not there. Salsa is a problem. Also, I don't know how to dance, so let's stay with some business clubs. So what do I need? Okay, business cards.
Yep.
Elevator page. Opening. What are my tools?
Yeah, good point. So there's a couple of things. So number one, let's say elevator pitch. All right?
Yeah.
Personally, I'm not a fan of that word because pitch means sell.
Yeah.
And we've already established selling doesn't work at networking groups. Pitch comes from being able to tell people what you do in 20 or 30 seconds. Bang, right?
Yeah.
But however, you've really got to change that pitch so that people don't feel sold to, but you let them know what you do. So again, you're right. But I don't agree with elevator pitch, but I do agree with being able to say what you do in 20 or 30 seconds.
20 to 30 seconds.
Yeah. You should be able to explain exactly what you do so people understand it in 20 to 30 seconds,
right,
no matter how complex your business. And unfortunately, most people can't do that.
Yeah.
They just go into a whole technical
like
description.
Me, it's 15 minutes to go.
Set. But here's the thing, Nina. Here's the thing, is people spend so much money learning how to sell. They'll spend a ton of money on getting a nice website and a color palette. They'll spend a fortune on their clothes, but they'll turn up at networking events surrounded by highly influential people, and from out of their mouths comes a whole gobbledygook of confusion. They don't spend any time or money learning on how to say what they say. And it's not because they don't know their stuff. They do. They know it too well, which means they can't deliver it in a way that the average person can understand.
Yeah.
And so there's a whole skill set. And this leans towards learning how to do networking and referral marketing, which people don't always want to invest in.
Right.
Because they think it's just handing a business card. So one is getting that pitch right.
Yeah.
That's just part of it. The other thing is your business card. Now the world's changed, right? So some people use business cards still, and other people have these apps and scan my LinkedIn and all that. All I would say is have something so you can connect. I'm a very big fan of the business card.
Me too.
I like to take the business card and I make notes on it.
Me
and
too.
And the reason is I will take action with that card. So when I take that card, I know 100% when I get home, I will follow up. Right? When other people take my card or my details, 99% of the time, they will never follow up. And there immediately is your distinction between someone who knows how to network and someone who doesn't. And there's loads of people that will tell you they know how to network and they spend hours networking, they never follow up.
But why they never follow? Why?
Discipline
Right.
normally.
Right.
Or not really, isn't it? But normally discipline. They get busy. So following up also in the right way.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing is you've got to watch out with these phones. I've seen lots of people scanning their LinkedIn and stuff. Great. It's better than nothing. But you now go away after you've met 60 people and try and remember the name of the guy you scanned it. You can't remember it.
Yeah.
So the thing is with a business card, you've got it in your hand, you've got it in your pocket, you can follow up. Or if you're going to do some other mechanism, some sort of scan card, make sure you do some kind of prompt so that you can go back and meet all the people you met.
Yeah.
There was an app I met recently, which was one of these really clever networking apps, and it's a fantastic app. And I do have it on my phone. It's called Plylo. And it's absolutely awesome. And the lad I met who first introduced to me, I said, this is absolutely amazing. The only thing that's missing is a way to go back and find all the people I met during this particular hour. I can't do that. It disappears into my phone.
No, it's gone then.
Yeah. So he's working on that. How do we do that,
Right.
But whatever mechanism you have to find a way to take action afterwards. So I like to think of a mountain and the snow on the top of the mountain. You got a little snowball. And if you push the snowball off the mountain, what happens? It gets bigger and bigger, right? And that's a great metaphor for the opportunities from networking. If you go to a networking event, you've got that snowball on top of the mountain now. Your possibilities to do something have started. But if you don't follow up, which is knock the ball over the hill, it never builds. So what you've done is just turn up and waste your time for an hour and a half.
In terms of the networking event, so because I'm here for so many years, like you, and you've mentioned it also that it usually feels very friendly. I've been recently to a very interesting experience. So I was speaker at one event, and everyone was 90% of people from the UK.
Okay.
99. They've just moved in here or are planning to move. And I have nothing against the UK or not British, nothing against that. But anything I said, there was no reaction. There was no reaction. There was no feeling from the audience. There was no reaction. Jokes, my
When you were speaking.
amazing jokes were super.
Yeah.
No one smiled.
Yeah, we're a very tough crowd.
No one replied anything. No one replied. So it was the worst experience I've ever had. But then the interesting thing, after this speech, people started coming to me and said, "Oh, it was so good. I thought it was the worst ever speech of my life. I think I had blackouts sometimes. I don't even remember some of it, how much stress I was, because I've never experienced it." And this was the point realization how different the audience that I got used to in this part of the world from, let's say, people from Europe or, when it's mixed together with others, it's fine. But the minute if it's just one nationality, very tough.
It's really interesting because you're absolutely right. You speak in the UK, the crowd's tough. They just sit there stone-faced, and you may get responses afterwards. If you go to Asia, I remember speaking in India in front of 2,000 people. I came off the stage. I couldn't get away from the stage. I needed to go. I was trying to go to another room. It took me nearly 2 hours to get to this room, which was nearly 20 meters, because people were just surrounding me. Lovely people trying to talk, give me business cards, have a chat. I just couldn't get anywhere. Completely different.
Right. I mean, it was difficult for me. That I need to be, and that's great also because that you need to train and be, comfortable with everything. Now, my question, that long introduction, was to one question. So we have 200 plus nationalities here. How do we network? Are there any green flags, red flags? Like, where do we need to be careful?
Oh,
how not to?
Yeah. So this is a really interesting one because there are lots of cultural nuances.
Yeah.
Actually, it's really interesting because I'm just about, actually this Friday, tomorrow, we're actually running a workshop as part of our SBC for culture, doing business across cultures.
Right.
And the idea being to give people some idea of where they could be messing up. And it's really interesting to see who's interested in learning and who chooses to continue in ignorance. As in, I don't care or I don't know.
Are
really
there people
interesting.
like that?
Oh my goodness!
They would come to this part of the world.
Yeah.
No, really?
Yeah. So a lot. So I mean, one of my biggest mistakes. I remember I used to run this workshop, and if people couldn't make it or they cancelled in advance or whatever, I send them a nice email, or my PA would. It's a real shame you couldn't make it. I know these things happen. We got another event in 2 weeks. Have a great time. We'll see you then. Okay. And I received a call a couple of days later from the lady it was sent to saying, "Look at this disgusting way I've been spoken to. How dare you, your PA do this?" And I'm sitting there going, "What? That was the loveliest message. How can this person be upset?" So I called a couple of friends and said, "Look, what have we done? Because it's my fault, not my PA. I gave her what to write." And they said, the word shame. You said it's a shame. And in that person's culture means you're shameful. You should be ashamed. Bam, bam, bam. And see, in my world, it was lovely. In her world, it was an insult. Yeah. And I was just delivering this exact same example to a client of mine. And he in his office, he has a young South African girl on the counter. And he said, "Oh my goodness." And he literally rang her straight away because she would, when someone couldn't come, she'd go, shame.
My daughter's like, "Why do they always say shame?"
You're with me, right? And that's just one thing. But then, there's other nuances in business, and there's so many. That's just one word.
Yeah,
right? One word. We can do things like if you look at an African in the eyes too long, it's a massive insult.
Really?
With a lot of Westerners, if you don't look them in the eyes, they think you can't be trusted. Oh, there's a one. A lot of Russians, if you smile too much,
I don't know, they like me.
Not true. So I know a lot. So a lot of Russians, they think you're a bit mad if you smile too much,
it's
right?
Unusual,
right?
Yeah.
But then an English person will smile because we're told to smile. So immediately we got a clash. So you got people selling to different nationalities, leaving with people saying, "Well, they were mad. I'm not going to do business with them." And all they did was smile or look at you in the eyes.
Yeah.
This stuff's amazing.
Yeah.
And I think we should, we come here and we learn some of the ways to respect the local culture, as we absolutely should. It's their home. but we're not thinking about the other 100 and 209 cultures who are here as well, who we could also be upsetting, and them us.
Yeah.
Interesting, huh?
Very interesting. So I think we're going to put all the links to your companies, your networking events into the description below, because I think this is a great opportunities for people to start from. Because at the end of the day, we want a great society here, right?
We're all great people.
Where we respect each other,
Can
we
you
love
believe
each
it?
other, right? And maybe not love. I don't want to love everyone,
No.
but at least trying to love each other. Yeah, and have this great respect towards.
Is there anything worse? Can you imagine it when you're super passionate about what you want to do? You've got a national drive on to change the world or do some good, and someone chooses not to accept that because you use the wrong word.
Yeah.
Or you look at them incorrectly.
Yeah.
And they'll never benefit from what you're offering.
Right.
Just from something as simple as that. So, we can't get it all right. And I suppose a lot of this is other things like, how we show interest and stuff, which we can do with any culture. But again, the things you ask about, some cultures you never ask about their wife. Other cultures, if you don't, you're being a little bit cold.
Yeah. But I'm just thinking, how would you ask in the locals here? How are your wives? Yeah, you do, right? How is this? I know in Oman, I love going to the, very like semi-government type of meetings. Before we start, it's the whole ceremony, right? Before you even start discussions.
Lovely. Yeah.
Hello, and this and dates. I love it. I think Dubai, we started losing that, right? We started losing slowly that.
Or maybe we're just not in those circles. I don't know. But
I think also, I think it's such a mixture now that let's just get to this. And no time, we're always in traffic.
Everyone's in a rush.
Stressed. So I wish we could have 3 hours, but we only have an hour. And I hope we will continue in the future this conversation, because you're full
so
of
much
ideas and secrets, and that will help us all. But so, am I right to understand that in this highly competitive environment here across many industries, I'm sure there's still, Dubai is a great place, the UAE is a great place. I'm not criticizing at all, but the reality is highly competitive. With zero budgets, there is a chance
Absolutely.
to be successful.
Absolutely. And a lot of it comes down to either being very natural at it, or being willing to learn how to do it. So here's the thing. Most people spend 10 to 15 years building their network, correct? To become known in a market so that people can go, you need to see that person. I've heard of him or her.
Yeah.
It takes 10 years. Now, the trouble is when you come here, you can't rely on waiting 10 years to build that, can you? Particularly in a market where people is very transient. So it's harder to build that.
Yeah.
So if you can't wait 10 years, the only way to do that is to learn how to fast track it. And you fast track by learning how to do it and doing it with purpose, rather than sitting back and going, it'll happen one day if I treat my clients well and if I'm a nice guy. Yeah, if you got 10 years.
Right.
But if you want it fast, that's when you can do something. And of course, that's what I really enjoy.
Right. And give us, I don't know, maybe one advice, something, a golden rule of, right, I want to do it. What shall I do? Definitely contact you. Definitely, and be part of your Rebel network, right?
So the Rebel Network is my website. There's some tips and stuff on there. But Strategic Business Connect, they're welcome to pop along. But I mean, go to find a good network, even if it's not mine. Find one that you enjoy, that you bond with. There's some great ones out there. There's a number of different ones. But whichever network you're in, become relevant. Don't just turn up and stand there. And when you do find the one, keep going back. Because when you keep going back and you keep showing up, people get to know you. They get to trust you. They get to like you. So when you turn up, be positive, help other people. That's how we get success in a network. But unfortunately, people turn up once. I didn't get what I want, so I go somewhere else. I didn't get what I want, so I go somewhere else. And that's not how that's not how you network.
It's people, that consistency.
The people expect to get a result in one, and I'm not going to the stats now. I could show this statistically, but you need to keep turning up between 5 to 12 times.
Oh, wow.
For people to really to start to say, oh, I want to buy, or oh, let me connect and help you. But people are not willing to turn up that often because they get bored and move on. Or their bosses go, you had no results, go somewhere else, because they don't understand networking.
Wow, that's so insightful. Thank you so much, Phil. The last question I ask my guests, if you had And if you could get one superpower, what would that power be?
One superpower. Oh my goodness.
And you can't say networking
And I
because
can't
you've
say
got
get,
it
and
already.
I couldn't say get my hair back, no.
Okay. My husband also has the same hairstyle. Does that bother you?
Not anymore, but it's a bit of humour. Welcome to English humour. No, my wife would kill me if I grew hair. She loves it. No, honestly, just Lindsay now, I think it would be able to speak any language.
Oh, I think soon you're gonna get that.
I would love to be able to speak any language.
I think soon with AI on the phone, that's
long,
the
eh?
superpower. That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Phil. So it's really enjoyed it, and what a beautiful conversation. You are a great networker.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Lovely
you.
to have. I really enjoyed it. Thank you, Nina.
I do that. Yeah. How was it? I know it was not detailed enough.
We didn't even get
but
into
it
that
was
stuff. We just had a lovely chat.
Yeah, but it's
better
so
to let it
true.
go, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah. So I thought I didn't even want to go through my things here because I thought it's just a great chat, and I think that's the most.
And that leaves you if ever
important.
you want to do another one. There's more, right?
Yeah.
But you know, the interesting thing, we only talked about networking.
Yeah.
We didn't get into a ton of other things. So there's actually networking, referral marketing, word of mouth. There's direct prospecting, there's LinkedIn prospecting, there's building your brand. All of that are part of what I do. And we just talked about networking.